I'm Jennifer Abadi with CreateWithJen.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make a fun fold card using the Enjoy Life stamp set. We're also going to do some watercoloring with some pencils to create a sunset background. I'm going to go ahead and flip you down and I'll show you what we're using and we'll get started. Okay, I'm going to zoom you in just a little bit so you can see what we've got going on here. Okay, so this is the stamp set we're going to be using, Enjoy Life. We're going to use some of this grass here, this silhouette here, these here, and this Wake Up, Kick Butt, Repeat. This has some beautiful sentiments in it. How beautiful a day can be when kindness touches it. But that's not what we're going to be using today, but there are some really nice sentiments. I really like this stamp set a lot. So let's go ahead and do our some of our cutting first. Grab my trimmer. And the first thing we're going to do is cut our card base, which is going to be black. And we're going to do right here 4 1/4. And then we're going to cut this by 5 1/2 because this is only going to be a card front. We're going to have a fold piece that comes up. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a little bit. So 5 1/2, and all the cutting dimensions will be on my blog, so you won't have any troubles finding that. And then we're going to cut another piece. We're going to leave this the full 11 inches. And we're going to cut it down to 1 3/4. And then this piece here, we want to score at 5 1/2. So here's my scoring blade. Fold towards the hill. It's nice and straight. Give it a nice good edge with that bone folder. Just a little better over here. Okay, then let's go ahead and get a piece of watercolor paper. Let me put some more light down here, see if that helps. Piece of watercolor paper, and we're going to go ahead and cut this one 5 inches, which this piece is 5 inches already, so we're good with that. And 1 1/2 in the other direction. So 1 1/2. And we're going to use some Daffodil Delight. And I want this to be 5 1/4. Oops. So cut that at 5 1/4. And we just need 2 small pieces of this. It's going to be 2 1-inch pieces. So I'm going to actually use this side to measure. That's one of the things I really like about this trimmer, is that they give you measurements on both sides, because sometimes it's easier to put for me, being right-handed, I like to hold the larger piece of paper here, so I'd rather cut the small piece off on this side. So these are 1-inch strips, 2 of them. Okay, our view may have changed a little bit. I had to re-record the second half of this video. My alarm went off to remind me to leave to go pick up the kids in a little bit, and I didn't realize it was going to stop recording. So I'm going to try to pick up where the video left off. So I'm actually recreating the second half of the video, but that's okay, because I like to make stuff. So we were going to get a piece of watercolor paper, and we're going to cut it down. I'm going to cut, let's do 5 1/4. And then in the other direction, I want 1 3/4 inches. And this side looks a little better. That side's got a bent corner, and I like that. 1 3/4. Okay. And then we're going to have a piece of Whisper White that is the same 5 1/4. Let me double check. That looks good. And 1 3/4 on this side. Okay, I believe we are all set here now. So let's put this aside and take out your watercolor paper. And you want bumpy side up. That's the side that will catch all that water and make our images pretty. And we are going to use the Stampin' Up! Watercolor pencils. This is the first set. They actually have 2 sets now, but we're going to use this first set. It comes with these 13 colors. And we are going to be using Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, and Real Red. So we're going to start with the red on the bottom of this paper here. And we are going to have some black stamping down here, so we don't have to go all the way to the bottom. You're not going to see right under that anyway, so it's fine. So I'm going to do it in about thirds. So I want about here for the red to end, I want about here for the orange, and then the top half will be yellow. So use the side of your watercolor pencil and with like a medium pressure, just color it in. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to blend it out with the water as soon as we're done laying down the color. So I want it a little bit more concentrated at the bottom. So you can see I press a little bit harder there, put a little more color. Okay, let's get some orange in here. I'm going to overlap them just a bit. You don't really have to overlap them too much because when you blend the color in, you're going to pull the color from one group here to the next anyway. And make sure I go all the way to the edge though, or close to it. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and then the yellow. I am going only from side to side, left to right. I don't want to go up and down or diagonal or scribble scrabble. I do want it to go side to side. When you think of a sunset, the layers of color and cloud and things like that usually go from left to right across the horizon, so we want to mimic that as much as possible. Okay, so then get your aqua pen, and I'm going to get it started over here. Make sure I got some water. And just start to blend in that color. Just lightly going over it, pulling out all of those pencil lines. And when I get to where the 2 colors meet, kind of go over it a little bit and up and down and drag the color through to get a little bit better blend before I move up through the rest of it. Let's see that. I'm going to do that here. I need a little bit more water, getting a little bit dry. Okay. So kind of up and down and through here. Give it a better blend. And all the way up. Make sure you go all the way to the edge. You do not want to leave any white edges. And just blend this in a little bit more in here. And I'm happy with that. Okay, so let's let this dry for a little bit here by itself, and then we're actually going to pull the heat tool out and dry it the rest of the way because we're not going to have a ton of time to sit here and wait for it. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get a little bit of stamping done. So the first one we're going to use is this piece here. I really like it because While it's pretty, it's not super floral looking, and this card is for a young man. I'm making it for someone specific, so I really don't want it to be super floral and girly. So go ahead and put that on your block, and we are going to stamp on the Daffodil Delight cardstock with Daffodil Delight ink. I just want it to be kind of a tone on tone, a subtle image. So I'm gonna get some ink on here, and then just starting at the bottom and stamping the image like that. And do the same thing on this side. I don't want it to look exactly the same, so I'm actually going to pull this piece to the side a little bit, like that. And I'm going to come back over it right there. And I'm going to do the same thing over here just to give it a little bit more definition. Okay, so let's put these aside. I'm going to stamp this off so my chamois doesn't get quite as dirty, and then clean my stamp off because I do not like dirty stamps. And I'm going to need that again. Okay, so let's go ahead and take these two that we just did and move this to the side. Actually, we're done with this. Let's get this out of the way. This is my silicone craft sheet. I'm really messy and I get adhesive all over the place, and then my project sticks to this and it makes me crazy. So if you get the adhesive on this, it just balls right up and you don't have to worry about it. So put the adhesive on that, and then I'm going to, this is not the right size. I had to recut these when you guys didn't see. Let me just check the size on this real quick. We're going to redo these. They're not the right size and I don't want to screw this up. This card is for someone very special. So let's just put this to the side and recut the Daffodil Delight. I was right the first time I did it, but now we're all mixed up. Maybe this is the wrong size. Nope, that's 5.5. So that's good. And this is 5.25. I'm not really sure what happened there. So let's go ahead and these are supposed to be an inch. Let's try this again. I don't know, it looks like it's the right size, but it just doesn't look right. Try this again. Daffodil Delight, just like last time. It's 1. It's 2. Stamp it off. Clean it up a little on the chamois. Okay. And this is drying nicely. All right, let's try this again and see if this works a little bit better. Not really sure what happened to that one. That's better. One like that. And here's the second one, like so. Beautiful. Okay, and then let's go ahead and take that piece of Whisper White that we cut earlier and put some adhesive on that as well. This is going to go right in here. Just like that. It's not exactly lined up, but it'll be okay because there's actually a space here like this around it, so you get a little room for error. So let's go ahead and stick this on too. So put adhesive on the bottom side. And then put it right in here. This piece is cut to be exactly the same length as the card base, so it'll run from top to bottom. That gives us a little border all the way around. Beautiful. Okay, so this is not quite dry and I'm ready for it, so I'm gonna grab my heat tool and we're gonna finish drying it the rest of the way so we don't have to wait for it so long. I'm not loving this part in the middle, so I'm actually gonna go back in with a little bit more water. Blend it out a little bit more. I don't like this white spot. That's better. Okay, now let's dry it. If you heat from both sides, you get a little less curling. Okay, I think that's dry enough that we can move on. Okay, so now we are going to use my stamp positioner that Stampin' Up makes. It's called a Stamparatus because the image that we're going to use is kind of solid, a solid silhouette, and I'm a bad stamper. So you take this here, and I'm going to put the magnet on it. I'm going to put it all the way to the top so I know where the top is. And then I'm going to put this here because we're going to stamp the bottom first. So I'm going to take the grass piece right here, and I want to put it all the way at the bottom, and I want to make sure that the bottom is covered with it. I do not want a white line. If that happens, we can ink it up, but it's better if we don't have one to begin with. So just go ahead and lay that there in the place that you want it. Okay, it's ready to go. And now we can ink it up. press it down. And let's do it one more time. I want this to be a little bit more solid in here. So I'm just going to ink it up again. So what's nice about this is that it will go in exactly the same place. I'm going to wipe this off. Beautiful. Okay, put that aside. And then I want to get this little kind of florally looking thing in here. A little bit hanging off the edge because I know that I don't have that much space to work with. And press it down. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to slide this down to the bottom and we'll get our silhouette here. And I want this person standing in the grass like this. And then let's go ahead and put our sentiment on here as well. So this is wake up, kick butt, repeat. I'm gonna put this here. And let's just grab one of these little butterflies. We'll do the side view one. I feel like maybe it's a little more masculine because it's a side view of a butterfly. I don't know if that makes any sense. Put it right there. Okay, so now everything is exactly the position that we want it to be stamped in. So I'm just wiping the ink off that here. And then let's press it down. So we pick it up. Okay, and then ink up all of our images on the side here. So I'm kind of doing a little twist and then a tap in hopes that I get better coverage. And press it down. And let's see how we did. We did well. I actually want this to be a little bit more solid. I do not need these anymore. I think these are perfect. Actually, I'm going to leave the butterfly. Why not? And we'll just re-ink. And you will see that everything is in exactly the same spot. So we don't get any messiness. You could never double stamp like this without a stamp positioner. I have another stamp positioner that came out before Stampin' Up had their own, and I love this one so much more. It has a lot of other features that some of them don't. I'll have to do a video on that, but if you're going to purchase a stamp positioner, I highly recommend this Stampin' Up Stamparatus instead. They also just started making you can purchase accessories separate. They're not available yet, but they will be. So these pieces here, you can leave the stamp on here and then they come off. I have another one of these. It comes with two, so you can actually have another one set up with a different stamp that goes here. And so they are selling extras of these now. You could buy this separate, so you can have multi-step cards. If you were making like your Christmas cards and you wanted to make 30 of them exactly the same, you can just pull these plates on and off and ink the different colors. It's a huge time saver, and then everything is perfect. It's great. Okay, so this is done. Let's go ahead and take this off. Put this to the side. And this just needs some adhesive on the back. just like that. My fingers are a little inky, so I'm actually going to use this to press it down because I don't want to get ink all over. And there you have it. Pretty watercolor sunset look. I have some room in here to write my words of encouragement because that's what's going in there. And it's a fun, fancy fold card. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment and I will answer them the best I can. Share and subscribe, like me, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.